Hello, good evening, and welcome to the South American DPC for this game of Lava versus King of Kings. I'm Dan Offen, aka Mr. Big Jams, and I'm joined as ever by Dota 2's own Bowie and Kips. How are you doing, Bowie?
I'm doing great. What about you guys?
I'm good.
Kips?
It was my birthday party yesterday, so I'm a little bit out of
Ah,
sorts, but I'm here now and I'm present. How about you? How about you, Kips?
Well, first off, congratulations, Dan.
Thank you. Yeah, I survived. I've got there.
awesome.
And
How old are you now?
I'm 31 now, so getting there.
Same
I'm
as me.
past retirement age for a Dota Pro, so I think I'm probably not going to make it if we're honest.
We would probably be dead if we were Dota players, but thankfully we're casters, so it's all right.
We'll
we
survive.
got like 5 years left in us.
I think so. Let's kick off and talk about these two teams. Exciting matchup we've got ahead. I want to kick off and talk about Lava, who people may know as ex-Thunder Predator. Kips, they had a rough TI, let's be honest, and they've come back here. How are they looking in this? They've already played one tournament, they got third place, and how are they looking in that, and how are they going to be preparing for the DPC?
I think it's a little bit early to say rejuvenated, but they definitely seem to be back to their old tricks. I think this TI was just honestly a very unfortunate situation for them. I think there was also definitely a lot of trouble gelling with Fear, who they had as a coach. Regardless of how good Fear is as a coach, like I would like to be coached by Fear. I just don't think that the addition worked out in the end. And right now they are free to get back up to their old shenanigans. I also happen to know that they are with an organization. So Lava is not just a name that they're giving themselves. They have a team house since 2 weeks. They're practicing full on, and I am very excited to see them at work here.
I think just to point back on the fear thing that you mentioned, I think like really what Thunder Predator the new Lava had problems with is the fact that, at least in my opinion, with most coaches, when you add them to a team, there's like this curve that usually goes down in terms of performance for a bit until you can actually like start seeing the peak. And they were so close to TI when they did it. So like you have all of these problems, right? Because Thunder Predator, I think, with the first major, they performed so well and they had so many expectations. And those problems to be solved so quickly, it's really hard. You just have this team that is already like kind of confused and doesn't really like they can't see the results they used to see. And now you add this another layer of complexity, right? And I think Fear had a really tough job there, and at the end of the day, it was a bad timing. But those players are probably one of the best SA players. So I really want to see how they fare against King of Kings, because they did give Biscos a lot of trouble, even though it was a 2-0 for Biscos at the end.
I know a lot of people watching this will know them as a team who've been a South American stalwart for a long time. But if someone's tuning in, they've watched them at TI go 8-0. What are they doing now differently in these first couple of tournaments that they weren't doing at TI? What can we expect to see with them, the people who only have seen them at TI Bowie, who won't be able to see them?
I mean, I was watching a lot of SA Dota recently. I'm not aware of Lava playing that many tournaments. There was this big Brazilian tournament, so most of King of Kings and now the new, the old. Oh my God, I forgot the name. The HFN stack. Oh Jesus,
that's no ping, isn't it? Or it used to be
no. That the Division II team. They changed name twice, but
Yeah, our team,
I saw
Wolf team.
yes,
that one,
Wolf
our
team.
way.
Yeah. They played a lot, so I saw a lot of those Brazilian teams playing. I'm not sure if Lava played games after, like, any games in this patch after TI.
They played
I'm not sure I can answer.
Pro Series.
Oh, did they?
They play.
Okay.
They placed third in Pro Series. Did you get to watch them in that, Kips, at all?
Honestly, no, because when they were playing that, I was not yet sure that I was going to be doing the SA DPC.
Yeah, so why bother? Fair enough. Let's talk about their rivals. They're coming up against APU's King of Kings. They have already played a tournament, almost already played a game in this tournament. They fell 2-0 to Beast Coast. Kips, talk me through a little what happened in that series.
Well, first off, when these games start up, I'm very much of the sentimental, right? These are the big boys to beat, right? Beast Coast is if you beat Beast Coast, you're gonna do well this season, right? Or at the very least, you're gonna feel like you can take anybody else as well. And they started off really well. APU's draft, especially in the first game, looked really solid, really punishing. And then their decision making, especially where the itemization was concerned, and I'm going to want to single out Mini here, their mid player, was really very pub-like. He was like, "Oh man, I got myself a great game. I can buy whatever the hell I want." And that did not work out for them at all. And Beast Coast took the game and the series in the end. And I'm hoping that we won't see as much of that in this series.
Bowie,
Yeah,
you
I
would have
think,
covered. Go ahead, sorry.
I feel like that sort of play style is really what it's like the best and the worst of King of Kings at the end. They are very like they really struggle with being patient in the mid game. They're really thirsty for kills. And that's kind of uncommon with Brazilian teams, generally speaking. I think that's more of like how people perceive Peruvian teams to play. And I think, usually that gives them an edge over Brazilian teams in some games, but I think they were way too pub-like, as Kip said, with the way they play Beast Coast. I'm actually really curious to see how they're going to fare against Lava, because I do feel like Lava, even if they're playing better than TI, they're not as stable, they're not as accomplished as Beast Coast. So it should be very close if King of Kings didn't really get tilted by their performance.
You watched them come through the lower division 2 seasons. They got promoted last season, and the season before they came third. Was that kind of pubby play, that instability, was that inherent in their lower division play, or is this something new that's crept in?
I mean, for sure. Actually, like at the end of the day, what happened with them is that they were supposed to go to Division I in the first season of the DPC, but there was this whole thing with 0900 where they got disqualified, and they had a win against 0900 that got taken out, and because of that, they had to play tiebreakers. And in those tiebreakers, once again, they didn't really play as well as they did. They were pubby-ish in a way. So I think that instability is one of the reasons they were not a Division I team in the last season, for sure.
The other question I want to ask is about their change they've made. They made one roster change. They've removed Sexy Fat and brought in Valakui. I hope I'm pronouncing this name correctly.
Valky.
Talk me through that change. Is that necessary? Was Sexy Fat a problem? Because he's a player that I know as being high skill. I've always liked his play.
I mean, I think he's a really, really high-skilled player. I am not entirely... there was at least not a public statement about why, at least I didn't see it, why he was removed. I feel like he was actually kind of tempted to join Furia Jovem, which is a team that also tried to qualify for, to Division II, and unfortunately, they didn't qualify. So they had Duster, they had a lot of... they have Kalazar, which is a pretty prominent new carry player, and they didn't qualify to Division II. And I feel like maybe he's the one that left rather than, because he's great friends with everyone on King of Kings. So I don't think he was necessarily a problem. They were, though, doing something very specific where they had to swap their offlaner to position 4 last season because Sexy Fat joined, and they didn't want to lose their offlaner because they're all really good friends in King of Kings. So that's why I think he probably left on his own regard.
Kips, let's talk a little bit about meta as we're moving into the picks shortly. I think the game start is a little bit delayed, but that's okay. We've got plenty to talk about. Talk to me about what we can see King of Kings doing normally. Do you think we're going to see something similar to their 2-0 loss, or might they change it up?
Yeah, I think so. What I've seen from them for now is they definitely favored his Treant Protector, and apart from that, I see a lot of very short cooldowns, which does favor, at the very least, they seem to know themselves very well. They like running at people, they like making sure that all these individual players can make these pubby plays, and if that's your style, then you gotta empower yourself. So I'm expecting them to, at the very least, keep the tempo high for this session.
And how about Lava, Bowie? What can you expect to see them picking out? What sort of stuff?
I mean, at least, when before TI, I'm going to pretend, their performance during TI didn't really exist.
Didn't count, yeah.
But yeah. Like, generally speaking, I think they were they were also very aggressive, but they were really creative. And I think the way they were able to use Minos or MNZ was really different from most SA teams. Like they were able to make him play these very like farm heavy carries, but at the same time, he was so good at connecting and like using his power spikes at the perfect time. So he would lose like 30, 40 seconds in a team fight. After it was over, he would TP, just keep on farming. So I really liked the way, not only the way, but the carries they would choose, because they were very versatile with his hero pool. It was very spirit-like in the sense of pretty much playing a different carry every game. I'm not sure if they have that though. I feel like they had their mojo. They were very because they were winning so much. I think they were always kind of willing to experiment more. I really want to see how they'll fare. I'm not sure I am that confident right now, but I think this series will maybe make me change my mind depending on how well they play against King of Kings.
From what you know of them as people, Kips, because I know you've been speaking to their CEO recently about the organization. They've been together a long time, a lot of these players. So some of them joined in 2019. MNZ and MJZ joined at the same time at mid 2019. That's a long time to play with a single group of people. How do you think mentally they're coping? Because it must be tough after TI.
Honestly, the impression that I got was that the reset was pretty, I don't want to say easy for them, but almost natural, because they've had a lot of, other strokes of bad luck and other bad runs in the past. So if anything, it sounds like they took it relatively well. The team dynamics have not much changed. They still have the same shot callers. I believe that especially Moose was singled out as one of the people who really, really talks on that team. And they're really just starting a fresh season, and I'm hoping that being with a new org helps for that as well.
They're in a team house, am I right in saying as well?
Yeah.
When you think about it, just the fact that after that amazing first major run and still like disappointing run in the second major and then TI, the fact that these players are still together just speaks a lot to how confident they are in themselves, and how they're very good friends. Because I actually interviewed Moose last season, and like he was super fun, and everyone apparently is a jokester in that team. They're very good friends in real life, so I'm not surprised they're still together. Very exciting to see. I mean, we do have a draft now. How they're gonna play?
That draft, an early Magnus and Weaver ban and a Monkey King ban on Lava. Kips, snap, predict this ban. Let's see if you can get it right.
Oof. Trient?
See, is it going to be Trient? Will Kips be the queen of draft prediction? They're taking a long time on this.
Invoker. They're going to ban Invoker.
They're going to ban Invoker. I think. I have no idea. I can't predict anything. You're going to ban Background. You're both wrong. You're both fired. Let's move on. What sort of early picks have we been seeing coming out in? Is the South American meta quite stable at the moment, would you say?
I would say so, but I think King of Kings are very different from most of the other South American teams. I think they actually first faced Trian in all games we saw so far, and in one of those games they actually first faced Invoker too. So okay, I'm gonna go for the
I respect that.
Talk me through the Elder Titan, Kips. If you respect it so much, why? How come?
This is the kind of hero that can both empower an aggressive lineup with the amount of extra damage that you get out of the aura, as well as being one of the best wave players and defensive team fighters. So it's the saying, get you a guy that can be both. It's that bad.
I also feel like after they added the shard on this hero, he became so much more versatile. It feels like the shard and the eggs just, even if you play it as an offlaner or a 4, you eventually get to that power spike, and this hero becomes like he didn't really use to scale at all. He was really good at laning. He would like make all those stacks, and for 5 minutes you were kind of a god, and eventually you'll be pretty weak. And I think the eggs and the shard really allow this hero to evolve in a different way. So I really like it. They will go for the IO Mars. Usually, at least in South America, we were seeing a lot of IO with already the win condition. So Lava, they get the Mars, not a Luna or a Tiny or something of that sort.
Am I right in saying that Mars was very much their TI hero? They played Mars a huge amount of TI, didn't they?
I think everybody did.
Everybody did. Thunder Predator especially, I seem to remember. But they've not picked it up since TI, so it's a return.
I think they actually were one of the first teams to flex that Mars to 5 a lot. MJZ really likes that. So this could either be IO Mars lane or Mars 5 with IO 4. There's even mid the Mars, so they are very flexible in that regard. That's really cool. And this Tide Hunter, huh?
Is that going to be an offlane Tide Hunter, or are people still playing it as support?
Almost always over on the offlane. And this is definitely the big team fight reset for if a relocate comes in and you want to stop off most of whoever's coming in. As well as the Tide Hunter has been used to pretty great effect as, of course, a minus armor hero in a lot of combination with Snapfire especially. Curious if we're going to still see that hero picked up here as well and put the Elder Titan in possibly a 5 position.
I think one here that really jumps to my mind right now is Disruptor, because it's not only is a counter to core Tie Hunter, but it's also a counter to Io. So I'm really interested to see if it's actually going to be ignored, or if Lava might ban it here, because King of Kings can pick it. I'm sorry, no, it's Lava that has the.
They end up very short on stuns though.
Yes, that is very true. You do have the circles though, right? You have Arena with Static Storm. Circles are a thing of beauty.
They are. I mean, I'm a big fan of area control here, and Elder Titan Tide Hunter, wherever Tide Hunter rocks up with the Elder Titan behind him, Lava is going to have to very clearly shot call, pick and choose their targets, because if they just engage into this willy-nilly, you're going to get absolutely slaughtered.
What sort of stuff do you like to combo with the IO, Bowie?
I mean, Luna is a very classic one. Whoa, Jugger. That is very unusual.
Yeah, that is unusual. What do you think the logic for that is?
I think Juggernaut is lane counter to Mars. So maybe they feel like this Juggernaut not only gives them push with the Healing Ward. I mean, Healing Ward in IO is really good. But I think even then, like, Jugger is not really appearing that we see a lot with IO. So that combo doesn't really happen a lot. I'm not sure I like this too much. I want to see how the draft develops, but doesn't strike me as, like, I don't feel like picking this counter to the Mars is that valuable unless their draft has something that I'm not really seeing right now.
They have been playing quite a lot of Juggernaut. I mean, they've not played a lot of games since TI, so the sample size here is relatively small, but it's one of Kotaro / MJZ's top picks so far, so perhaps they just like it.
It's very possible. It also means that they don't have to buy a BKB for their carry to participate in the possible early team fights. Juggernaut's one of the best heroes at that, especially if he can walk in, spin, walk out again, can't get ravaged. Elder Titan doesn't do too much to you.
It is good in lane against the Tide as well, although also it's hard to last hit, but Snapfire up there.
I hope they go Void here.
Well,
all right.
Other Void.
Is that the Void you were hoping for? Or?
I think both Voids are pretty legit because both actually don't care about Arena. Both don't care about Omni Slash nor Blade Fury. But I think the actual Void, the Faceless Void, might be banning the third phase. Still pretty solid. I like the Snapfire minus armor here. IO, pretty low armor in general. You do have that Tide Snap, as Kips talked about. So it's looking pretty solid on King of Kings.
Yeah, I mean, we can also see my old problem with it. I'm just going to do this spiel anytime they show up, but these cooldowns are long, man.
And you know what? I'm not sure King of Kings likes this, but if they play this Elder Titan offlane, he has so much move speed with the Spirit that I don't think you care about this Juggernaut at all, whereas the Tide Hunter could suffer. I'll go Grim.
Yeah, the Tide's definitely going to suffer.
Yeah.
Is the Grim there for the Juggernaut combo with Inkswell? Is that why they picked that?
The W also destroys Tide Hunter and Void Spirit, having to actually hit. Tide Hunter has very low speed, so you don't dispel the Ghost, the Phantom's Embrace. So that's really good.
So we're moving on to last bans here. What sort of stuff do you want to see King of Kings ban out here, Kips? They've already banned a Outward Devourer. What else they need to get rid of?
I mean, that was the big one. That's the big lane counter to Void Spirit. After that, Honestly, they might want to think about something offbeat like the tiny, something else that can combo really well with the IO, something that's going to give magical burst
Mm,
as well. A lot of the spirit heroes don't do that. Points to
there you
Bowie,
go.
by the way. They go for the Doom.
Yeah, it's okay. I do feel like Tiny is really good for lava though. They might just go for it. They do have some tanky boys on everyone but the Void Spirit, so I think that's probably why they let the Tiny through. I'm gonna be able. Tiny will struggle to kill those heroes in the mid game if he doesn't snowball very quickly.
And what carry do you think King of Kings need, Barry?
Without this Void, so heroes that like usually I think heroes that can that don't really need to care about Omni Slash are good. I think PA is strikes as a really good hero for me. You don't care about the arena, heavy physical damage, just burst the jug. You can actually blur out of the Omni Slash. You can Phantom Strike out of that. You have good attack speed for the Embrace. I love PA. I wouldn't be surprised if they ban it here. I think it's probably the best here, especially with all the minus armor they already have.
How do you feel about
Yep, that
Troll?
was-
That's the other one that I noticed in the pool.
It's okay. I dislike the Mars matchup though, because a lot of times I feel like Troll ults. He doesn't really. Oh, they take the Drow out. Doesn't really kill the Mars that well, and you're just there, you know. But it's not bad versus Jug.
I feel like PA works quite well because of the minus armor. They have 3 minus armor heroes here in Titan, Snap. It's a lot. You know, you want something with heavy physical burst, I would say.
For sure. You can
Although-
also jump the IO and the Grim, both of them. You have good targets for that. To me, it's pretty much the perfect pick. I have trouble imagining anything else right now.
Yeah, I think the problem is that Benny is such a unique sort of character player. He, I wouldn't be surprised if they just go Gyro because that's one of his most played heroes, and it feels like they always resort to what's comfortable to him rather than going for the best pick in the game. But then I would really dislike their draft because I think they could have just first phased the Gyro instead of last picking a hero that's not great. I agree, Kips. I think Pei is the best hero by far that they can go for.
Are there any other options at all? Like a Sven, perhaps? There's something big and heavy
Ursa?
that can take advantage of cookies.
I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. The Sven is not bad, but I feel like PA is much better. Doesn't really rely on cooldowns, which they already struggle with. Doesn't have Fire Tide. Oh, I'm glad.
Go. Oh, you're perfect. Yeah. Well done. You can retire now. Retire a happy man. What are we thinking then for this lava pick? Lina, perhaps something high burst, single target?
I love the Tiny, honestly. I think he can actually burst the PA, especially early on before BKB. Lina is fine, though. It will win the matchup versus Void. But I do feel like PA, even when Lina has BKB, PA can just destroy the Lina. And I'm not sure that I is going to be able to save her fast enough.
Yeah, I'd be more partial to something like an Ember Spirit. There's not a lot of hard lockdown at the ready. He can dodge pretty much anything that gets thrown at him in this game. Also favorable in roaming capabilities over the Void Spirit. Just a question of can you handle the PA, and they go wildly different.
So it's mid-Mars, right? Mid-Mars with offlane Underlord.
There's a mid-Mars. That's an interesting one. We've seen them play a lot mid-Mars before.
I mean, I get it. It's they don't have the damage to kill Underlord. Usually, Underlord gets punished heavily if there's a Razor, if there's a Nursa. So, last picking Underlord here is not bad, but I do feel like their draft. I don't like this Jugger Underlord combination. They're tanky in a way. But I feel like PA can just kill both supports so easily if this game goes too late. And I don't see them having a lot of tower damage to make this game quick enough.
Okay, let's close up then. Kips, give me the 15-second cliff notes on this King of Kings lineup. What do you think it's going to be doing? What's it trying to achieve?
So this King of King lineup, I have very high hopes for Mini this time. I was calling him a bit too much of a pub star earlier, but honestly, this is the kind of game where you're the guy on your team that needs to make the plays. You got to play this one a bit like a pub star, and he has a pretty good game for it.
And
so,
Bowie?
I favor their draft here.
And Bowie,
right.
any quick thoughts on Lava before we head to casters?
I totally agree with Kips. I think in general, King of Kings, they're drafting really, really well. So I want to see them win this game because their drafts have been on point for 3 times in a row.
Great. Well, we're going to head straight into this game as I hand over to our casters, Gary and Lacoste.
Thank you so much. I mean, yeah, but Bowie learning high altitude training from our last couple of seasons for SA, the 9th pick strategy, which he's picked up from Zayori, gets it bang on with that PA pick. Lacoste, tons of team fight between these two sides. What are your thoughts just looking at these drafts and going into game one?
Like, if someone shows me these two drafts, I'm like, man, Radiant draft is 10 times better than what the Dire has, because they have no real synergy. I'm really surprised that they decided to put Mars on the mid lane and shift Underlord to the off lane, because you don't have a single ability that matches with the Grimstroke ulti. Like, literally not a
There's
single
no single
one.
target.
Yeah, they don't have anything. So that's not good. Like, at least you want to have something. Grimstroke is super popular hero, strong, especially after the Inkswell was reverted from 4 to 3 seconds. And thank God that happened, because the hero seemed relatively unplayable. But looking at the other stuff, like Radiant Draft just looks, they have team fight, they have like good lanes, they have ways of taking the Roshan, they are gonna abuse the minus armor from the Phantom Assassin once she gets to death. So Tidehunter plus Snapfire, super strong combination in the laning stage, and also like at the mid and late game, ET's aura will be maxed out. So I'm kind of worried for Lava's lineup. They have no real catch against Void Spirit. There's going to be root mechanic. I guess that's what they've been thinking, but I would still prefer, if they picked something like Ember Spirit, seeing how these games develop. 5 games that I checked, Ember Spirit just won against Void Spirit. He seems like the strongest spirit at the moment.
The counter. Yeah, but it's like Kips mentioned, right? She wanted that Void Spirit last pick, and if you look at the other way, you're saying there's no real catch against the Void Spirit or the PA. It's a real rough one for the IO and the Grimstroke in this game. Again, Kips mentioning that they can kind of ignore the Underlord or the Juggernaut at the start of the fight, let Mars throw his arena, focus on the 2 supports with all of that gap close you've got, like Spirit to Scout, Cookie, the Phantom Strike, the Astral Step, can all get in on top of some of these squishier heroes. And when you start the fights with a numbers advantage and then have the team fight AoE to back it up with Ravage and Mortimer's Kisses, you're in for a good time. But I'm also feeling a potential trend here, because we've said similar things about the Binamistas when they were named that, as they're now the APU King of Kings. We saw it against Beast Coast a couple of days ago. Draft goes very well. They outdrafted Beast Coast. They outlaned and outplayed Beast Coast. And then we get to that mid to late game where experience and decision making are key factors, and they have fallen short a number of times. So it's going to be one of those experience.
Great monologue, Gary. I gotta say, like, you really nailed it. Why do you even need me? Like, you just explained everything perfectly. Like, I'm just gonna be here, exist, throw in a couple of memes, also throw in a couple of those. But yeah, I'm really worried if these two teams were equally matched in terms of skill. I would say Radiant wins 9 out of 10 times.
Oh wow, that much? Well, there's a lot to do here for the boys on the Dire, the Lava Boys. Of course, a couple of name changes coming in, as we've got MJZ and Moose renaming to Katyu and Kim on that Grimstroke. And Io, a couple of Radiant Observer Wards very early here, Lacoste, both in similar places. What's the reasoning that Radiant have double warded that top rune spot? Mistake or purposeful?
Let me just see the duration. It's not a mistake, Gary. I guess one of those could get devorted because it's something that happens quite a lot, but you can also see what they're gonna lane with. Most likely, you expect Grimstroke to be paired up with the Juggernaut, but now you have a confirmation as well because he's moving to the top lane, and you can also see if someone is making stacks, so you can invade with the Tidehunter. I think that's the biggest part, and also Void Spirit, because they will want to make some stacks, especially for the Underlord, because he's gonna be the one clearing them early on. Mars could also potentially be the one. I think we should focus on the top lane, because this is where action is going to happen.
Oh, I mean, that bottom lane, Io's getting hammered. Nuage is on the Elder Titan. Can't continue giving chases. Io will turn the back to the creep wave. But yeah, that top lane also a lot of damage coming out with the minus armor of Tide and the Snapfire. And then, of course, that combo the panel were mentioning, Jug plus Grim. with the Inkswell and the spin.
I would prefer if Tidehunter starts with Gush. Level 1 Anchor Smash doesn't really do it. It's damage reduction 30%, not much damage, and there's great synergy if Grimstroke is caught outside of position with minus armor coming up from the Blightstone, the Lil Shredder. It could potentially be a dead Grimstroke. If they hit level 2 faster, and they will, Snapfire is already level 2, this Grimstroke just straight up dies. There's nothing he can do if they decide to go on him. Very Far is available, but also keeping the Juggernaut low is very important. He started with the Magic Stick, which is something that you should do, playing into Tidehunter, and now we can see the spin. Inkswell is available.
The counter to the spin, just punch him. Throw that minus armor you're mentioning straight at the Jug. And you bring up a point there about keeping him low, right? It's that threshold where he's scared he's going to die, so he can't play aggressively, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Just to keep him low, and then he can't go in and just spin. Now, with Tidehunter hitting the level 2, Gush is online. Also, the way offlaners are building these days, and even like safe laners, you see Phantom Assassin. This time around, a bit of a different build, but usually what you see is two slippers. They have a bit extra damage, and you never upgrade those. Same goes for the offlaners. They start with the gauntlets, they bring a couple of branches, so you can't survive that first initial burst if something like bad happens. If they run an aggressive tri-lane just for the first second, they try to get a kill, your position 4 has a healing salve, but you don't die. Like, you're not a first blood material with this type of a build.
Yeah, it's super nice on Tide in particular, right? We used to see the Bracer rush against Juggernaut just to try and withstand that spin and survive through the damage. And on Tide, buying Soul Ring feels pretty good as well.
You don't want to rush Soul Ring. You want to invest into Ring of Health so that you are going to be full HP. And like, even if they use the full combo on you, you're still going to be able to survive. And then you go back for Soul Ring, of course, because you are very mana-dependent hero and your mana pool is limited.
Just like staying in the lane, make sure you're getting every little bit of experience and gold you can. An attempt top. Inkswell's there towards the Tide. Minos will go for the spin. Valky cookied away. Still about 100 gold away from his Ring of Health, but there's the salve you talked about, so they can stick around in this lane with a fresh wave coming back in. That's going to be so much gold and XP
aggressive.
Who are they glyphing for? Is that a glyph for bottom dive or a glyph for top creep wave?
It must have been a mid glyph. I was watching the top lane, so I can only either lie or make stuff up. You can choose one. They definitely didn't glyph the top lane because there was like no point. Creeps were full HP. Must have been the mid lane. Leo style spear. That's the first blow.
Oh, he gets him. Just spears straight through Mini. Goodness. Oh, he's leading in CS as well, 26 and 5. Leo style really handing it to Mini's Void Spirit in that mid lane. And another one as Valky does drop to the Jug and the Grim, and with that healing ward, Kotaro will get salved up as well.
I think they made a mistake. Like, they didn't block the small camp, which allowed the Cat2 Grimstroke to pull it, which is a big mistake. And they also are not like playing around the big camp because their lane top is much stronger. They also can
under the tower.
Yeah.
Can he die here? He's got Resonant Pulse. Another spear comes. Oh, it's not enough damage. Not quite. Well, Leo Style's been toying with him, though. Displacing him all over the place. And we do lose Jupiter. Poor little Snapfire. That's one thing you don't want to be doing, is contesting these pools alone as they go for another spear mid. Another kill for Leo. The Mars has solo killed the Void Spirit twice in a row.
That should not happen. Like, even with ET behind him, ET had a healing cell. What they wanted to do is try to bait, but it's also only level 1 Echo Stomp, which is not the greatest. And with a couple of Magic Wand charges, he still survives.
Top lane. They've got the swell and the spin yet again onto the Tidehunter. And down goes Valky.
It's just a disaster
this laning stage.
For the laning stage for the Radiant team, because like they didn't play top lane well. I've not been focused on the bottom too much. I'm a boomer, Gary. I can't click that much, but seeing the top lane going this bad. Tidehunter sitting at 16, Juggernaut 30 CS, and now he's gonna crack level 6. It's almost impossible to play the top lane right now.
Oh yeah, it's so rough. And it does come back to that thought process where we've seen how well the King of Kings can perform if their lanes go well and they get an early lead. They go into that mid game feeling strong, but mid game decision making hasn't been their forte whatsoever. So now it's going to be a completely different story going into that post laning stage segment behind against Leo Style and the boys. And we haven't really looked at that bot lane too much. How is it going? And PA CS isn't too bad.
About to crack level 6. I see a Ring
here
of
comes
Health,
Mars.
but a good arena.
And there's the rotation in. Leo Style helping out another lane. So a couple of solo kills for him. Transitions bottom, kills the PA. So you're shutting down Benny's early farm. And with a catapult wave,
This
you're
is
pressuring
dead
tier 1
tower.
tower.
Phantom Assassin can't just TP into this, especially since Mars is still sticking around. He's still being very close. Let's see where Phantom Assassin is gonna decide to go. TPing bottom, but they also bring Void Spirit. Okay.
Yeah, go for the IO. Aim for the kill, but the tether back all the way towards the creep wave and salving up, which leaves Nuages all out in the open. Down goes the ET, and Void Spirit, he spent all of his mana, rotates bottom, doesn't get a kill. And Mini kind of stranded down here along with Benny. Yeah, they Phantom Strike
dodges
away.
the spear. That's nice. That's why I said, you know, Phantom Assassin can't go bottom. Tower's gonna fall anyway. They had the catapult. Underlord has a full Vanguard. Like, this hero doesn't die. They don't have enough damage to kill him for the next, like, 5 minutes, unless he does something really stupid, dives underneath the tier 2 tower, but he should not die.
Is Valky okay? They get a gush back onto the Grimstroke, but in comes the Omni Slash, bursting through them. There's no Inkswell or anything to continue onto the ET.
Oh, Kotaro not gonna go for the dive. Serum doesn't even have Boots of Speed, just a casual Windlace, Phase Boots, and Blade Fury was available in the next second, so a bit surprised there. You know, Juggernaut has enough armor sitting at, what, 15? So tier 2 towers don't really do that much to him. Maybe he
So
just wanted
scared
to
of the
play
other
it safe.
heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if Mini comes up there, gets on top of the jug, things could turn nasty for him. But Lava Boys, just keep it going. The speed at which they're playing right now, you know, 8 kills to the good, 2k net worth lead, smoking out from mid. With the Io and the Mars migrating bottom, there's no one there in the lane.
They
Benny
want Phantom
is
Assassin.
being pinged
Leo Style
out.
is ready. Like, if he gets the arena, that's a kill.
Perfect. Just spot on stuff. Leo Style is out a cracking game so far. Sitting top of the net worth, ahead of his Juggernaut even.
In terms of network, like what happened in the laning stage, Void Spirit is still doing okay, considering that they lost the tower. He died twice. He doesn't have any kills compared to Mars, who's been involved in 5 kills, has 3 last hits out of those. So, but he still needs to play a bit more aggressive on the side lanes. Bottom lane's completely gone. They already set up the vision. You don't have enough to play against Underlord. This is similar to what happens when you're playing into Timbersaw. He becomes super tanky early on, and you have no answers for him because their damage output is really limited. Phantom Assassin doesn't do anything. ET level 4, no points in aura. He's more about that counter initiation mid lane. Spear, I mean, he needs to be careful.
He does, yeah. I mean, Leo Style doesn't have arena. And it looks like Nuage is there. Will grab the Arcane Rune under the nose of the IO. And they do bring a number of heroes in mid to defend a bit of a push that was coming forwards from the APU Kings. And we're still kind of waiting for that moment where the Radiant team thinks, hey, we've got Ravage, we've got Mortimer's Kisses. Because 10 minutes in, we're not level 6 on the Snapfire yet, so you don't have that full arsenal of teamfight abilities that could bring you a turnaround.
They need to play with the supports. ET, he should not be the one taking the tome. Snapfire, they need that level 6. One of the reasons why he takes it. Because ET, you know, he's level 5 here. Doesn't matter really if he gets a point in Earth Splitter. It's not that effective compared to Mortimer's Kisses. I want to see a smoke. I want to see a rotation. Oh, top lane again.
Yeah. Attempted TP, stopped by the Inkswell. Very well timed yet again. Juggernaut with Yasha into Maelstrom, accelerating very quickly. claims his place top of the net worth now.
Yeah. And Katyu, I like what he's doing on a Grimstroke. Just understands Inkswell, lower the cooldown, put the point in Phantom's Embrace. It's super effective against the Tidehunter. Just playing that position 5. You know, he's not trying to carry, he's not trying to play position 4. From position 5, understands what needs to be done in this situation, not playing greedy. He knows what their win conditions are, and they're playing really well around it. Leo Style getting closer to his Yule Scepter, just 300 gold away from it, and then he can start to set things up even more easy on the Void Spirit. Void Spirit going for a really greedy build here, just wants to get that Aghanim Scepter, which is gonna ruin, you know, backlines of Lava.
Well, it looks like that Yule's nearly done. Coming out on courier now. Should signal for Lava to make a move somewhere. And we're going to quickly jump to our faces for a second, because we've got a little problem in production. And we'll do a radio cast as a Mars Arena and a Soulbind. They are counteracted by
Big
the
Omni.
kisses. There's Lava landing, but that Omni Slash, you're right, kills off Mini. Grimstroke gladly dies to take 2 kills. That Lava gather up near that mid lane and could actually move in for a tier 1 tower push. There's a DD rune bottom for Mars. Why the hell not?
They're still
did they
not
get the
done.
snap? They're not. You're right, Lacoste. They just keep on going. Kim's courier falls to the little shredder there of Jupiter.
Oh, the Tumbler Stoy play. Can he find him? Yule Scepter?
No.
Yeah, but this
Too
should
far
be
away.
the mid tower. Leo Style pops the double damage. I'm not sure why they decide to like take a fight there. They should try to split the map a bit and see like who's showing on the map. The problem is, you know, there is still relocate play. So even if you look, if it looks like you outnumber them, there's gonna be 2 heroes showing up. So right now, APUs, they're really in a tough spot right now.
Absolutely are, especially when you want to be comboing up the kisses with the Ravage. Now you're waiting a minute for kisses, you've got Ravage ready. Do we want to fight? Do we not? Just going to sit around and kind of wait for this PA to actually get her first item. The 2 swords are ready. So now 1,000 away from the Battle Fury on Benny. But it's going to be a long time coming. And they can't even really push into any objectives. Like they're trying to move that top lane in towards tier 1. But Lava very steadily chipping away at the mid tower. And also guarding that jungle for the Juggernaut while they sit on top of the ramp. Waiting to see what comes their way. Mini's Void Spirit shouldn't have too many issues dealing with them. Silence for a second. Steps out to the left. And that was spin expended.
Kataro just playing this game so well right now. Understands that he can't really die unless they use the Ravage or if he goes in too aggressively. Another good arena.
That arena. So well placed by Leo Style. Very well deserving of that dominating streak, and the Inkswell connecting on the secondary target. More and more and more. The greedy Devils will take a double for Leo. And now this can be tier 1 top for Jug. They can move back in towards mid, get another objective. It's just been a one-way street this first 15 minutes.
Kataro will take the top tower on top, which will bring him closer to Manta Style. Even though they don't have like stun silences, he can remove, you know, the Gush minus armor, but he saw Void Spirit buying the point booster, and that's what he's afraid of.
They go for the kill.
Oh, reload, not in time.
No, they don't get the save. The tower does die as Frank clears it up, turns around to the pit and the Firestorm. Rod of Atos there onto Mini, and they've got a Soulbind too, but the kisses, they come from a long way out, launched onto the Grimstroke. No way there for the Io to save him, who jumps instead to move towards Kataro's Juggernaut. Omni Slash still in hand. He can chuck the ulti out once the creep wave's gone if he wants to, and Valky is isolated. Oh, the jump off to the right, but he's been caught again. A Rod of Atos providing that additional bit of control here that the Lava Boys needed to keep gathering kill after kill.
And immediately TPs to the bottom lane. He sees a huge wave, double wave approaching with a catapult. Will defend the tower. Io needs to be careful.
That's an awkward one.
He has 11-1 charges, Tumbler Stoy, Fairy Fire. If someone's in trouble, that's Snapfire. And there we go.
Yep. Yules and the Spear. Still a tanky Snap. But they've got, again, that additional bit of lockdown there as Kim's IO, dancing with death a little bit. Did have to pop the Holy Locket, but down goes the snap. And this map has been cracked wide open by the Dire squad. All tier 1s down, line is drawn across that Radiant Triangle, and that's where Lava want to play.
Smoke from Lava, they want something to happen. Juggernaut still didn't use that Omni Slash, so they could play aggressively on the bottom lane. Right now, they don't have enough tower damage on APU Kings to kill the tower, so they need to play with the siege creep units. Good thing is Void Spirit is getting closer to Aghanim Scepter, so that's going to help quite a lot. Problem is, Phantom Assassin is not fight ready. She just finished off her Battle Fury. Usually, like, you want to be greedy with this hero, but in this scenario, I think it's 100%. It's a must-have BKB second item.
Yeah, it feels that way. Like, in general, how do you feel
Another
about...
good
is that
spear.
another
I
Mars
feel like
Arena
he's
with
going
a-
to die again. That's how I feel, Gary.
Nice transition, Lacoste, as always. I mean, how many heroes is that? 4 heroes with the relocate, bringing the additional numbers you were mentioning, just really rallying around that top lane. But how do you feel about the PA's position right now? Because you mentioned she's not fight ready.
Yeah, I feel
when will she be? Is
position
BKB going to be
4
enough?
in terms of net worth, if that's what you ask me.
Yeah.
Juggernaut.
Oh, Omni
Slash.
Slash.
On bottom. It's a rough one. It's very hard to play into this farm Juggernaut. Especially with Io behind him, you know that there could potentially be a turnaround with the Relocket, which is not ready right now, but there is a Holy Locket, there is a Healing Ward. It's very hard to go on. I'm sitting at the 25 armor, doesn't really care about that Snapfire, a little Shredder, nor the Gush.
And
Phantom
they're all
Assassin,
around the Star
like-
Observer Ward too.
If we talk about carry-to-carry matchup and what PA is playing into this game, and that's Grimstroke Io, Phantom Assassin should have, you know, in theory, a good game. But if she's playing from behind, because Juggernaut's staying one item ahead of her, then it's very difficult. Even though you can still, like, use the blur to dodge the Omni Slash, she's not going to be the target for Jug. Like, he wants to get rid of different targets. Big timing for them is going to be Void Spirit picking up this Aghanim Scepter. They just need to outpush the waves. Mid lane is showing. Let's see if Mini decides to jump. He showed his Aghanim Scepter. Like, these are small mistakes that tend to add up. If you're doing something like this, there was no need for him to show on mid lane that, you know, they don't know. You jump the backlines, you double silence one of the supports. Ideally, you want to jump on Io. But let's see what they can find.
Yeah, and it feels like they need to find isolated targets, someone on their own. Io, Grim, someone like that. I don't know if a 5v5 straight up...
Did you just
gonna
say
work for Alpha
isolated
Kings.
targets?
Isolated targets, yep.
Io holding onto Big Boy Philly. So items are going to start to add up. Mech
Why
about
is it
to
a
be
big boy
finished.
Philly, not a little
It's
boy
Big
Philly?
Boy because it's the best item, best neutral item in the game. Gary, period.
Hands
It's
down?
Hands down, exactly. I checked some stats during TI. It was the item that was held the most, like for the longest duration of any of the neutral items.
Oh, right, yeah, I remember you showing me. It was like, even though tier 4 items are coming out, people are still hold, like, for, what, 15 minutes or something? You hold on to
Yeah, Big
Philosopher's
Boy
Stone when it
Philly,
drops?
a lot of value. Every single time you die, if no one is using it, it's always good to have him backpacked, and then you switch it in. If you're not fighting, keep it.
That's good advice. Good advice. Like, Philosopher's Stone, Shovel, just keep swapping them in and out. Get full utilization out of them. So, a bit of vision. Oh, that's an Arena Spear, but cookied out of it. Mini given a little bit of space by the
Ravage
Snapfire,
connects
and
on two.
Ravage connecting onto the two of them means Mini can now dive on in. They've killed off Catyu. Backline's being stabbed and the kisses land on the Io. PA getting close to death. So close, but still dies. Kataro's Juggernaut is a monster right now. Valkyrie does force him back as Lava regroup back towards their tier 1 and around Frank. They've killed Mini. Survive on the Underlord. And a very close fought fight, but 2 supports for 2 cores. You've got to give it to Lava
Leo
on
style,
the
Yule
side.
Scepter. Ooh, nice jukes there coming out from EP.
Squealing.
But yeah, this... Oh. He actually managed to get him. I was watching ET running away. That's a big, big kill. How much gold did he get? 500 gold. He's also holding on to Big Boy Philly, which means that... Because you can hold on certain heroes, like... You don't deal damage to right click. Slow Shredder is fixed damage per shot. So that means you're still gonna be able to deal damage even without, reducing your own damage.
Yeah.
And now they're picking out the Roche. It looked decent. I think they got more than I expected on the side of APU Kings. But they're gonna lose Roche. Kataro is just getting gigantic. Like, he's enormous right now. Level 18. About to finish Scotty.
These huge items and a massive window, right? With Ravage, Kisses, and Earth Splitter on cooldown. You know that the Radiant just don't have what it takes to fight. They're still waiting for BKB on Benny too. So a lot of issues. They've got to try and wait. And straight out of the pit. They don't finish it. They smoke, thinking that a fight was brewing.
Lava, they got vision. They can see map movement, especially around the tier 2 tower on the top lane. So they wanted to go out of the pit, possibly get a kill or two, and then finish the Roche. But it seems like APU Kings, they're not going to contest it. Phantom Assassin still very far away from finishing off that BKB and being able to jump inside the middle of the fight.
I don't know, that they're moving towards the pit. They've got
Ideally,
Kisses.
I
Ravage
think
is ready in 10 with Blink.
If PA has a BKB, that would have been much, much better, fight choice for them. Kisses with no real follow-up.
A Mini's in.
He jumps.
Roshan's dead. He gets the kill on Roche, but Aegis is snatched by Katara, and they've speared him against the arena, silenced by the Embrace. Oh, Mini tried it. It's a nice attempt, but now the relocate forward. Stomped up. Nuages, he's been tagged by that Rod of Atos. No way to retreat as Kataro continues his beyond godlike streak, and even though Jupiter's cookie to the low ground, we've got a Yule Scepter there from Leo style, spinning on the spot. The pirouetting Mars dances around his target, and Grandma, Mortimer, nothing but prey.
And he also doesn't go for the last hit. He gives last hit to Kataro with the illusions. Yeah. I guess the thinking coming into that Roche fight was, I'll use Snapfire ulti. They got the last hit on it. Void Spirit will go like super greedy, sacrifice himself, try to pick up Aegis, but not really worth it, because even if he picks up the Aegis, they still lose that fight.
Yeah. Well, they do have BKB on the PA now. Blink Ravage may still be a surprise here. But Katara with that Aegis frontlining 2,500 HP just wails away at the barracks. And the rest of Lava sitting pretty deep behind him. Pinged out, Blink Ravage there. Leo style the target. He's been brought down. Katara and Kim are back in with a spin, but a good sleep there. Catches the IO as the Omnislash from Juggernaut bounces back on them, and there's just no stopping him. Katara, he is a beast. Chasing forward for the PA now. They've lost their Tide and ET. Benny will blink off to the right. Can Kataro keep giving chase, though? Rod of Atos ready in a second, but PA blinks back to the creep camp, which opens her up to get caught by the roots. So now Katara can spin towards Benny. She's going to blink away again.
That's why carry-to-carry matchup, in theory, should work better for PA in this one, especially since they don't have like any kind of hard lockdown. There is this Rod of Atos into Bit of Malice, which is okay, but with the BKB online, it's not going to provide too much trouble for PA. Still, decent fight for APU Kings, where they managed to get a couple of kills, especially Mars. It was a very good jump. They also forced out Io to use both Holy Locket and the mech early on. Io also just picked up his shard, which is something that players are not really good at, because if you jump and if you don't precast your BKB, you're going to get stunned. And it's 1.75 second stun, which is something that players are kind of not used to it, because it didn't exist before. I mean, it did exist before. It wasn't a shard, but it's been a long time since, the tether actually stunned people. Before, when was that? Like, TI...
Oh, man.
2-3 era?
3, 4, yeah. My memory says TI 3. It was like back when you picked CKIO and you had spirits that gave vision, you had the reality rift to drag them, CK stun, tether stun, just auto kill anybody in the lane, basically.
Still a minute and 40 seconds left on that Aegis. Taro gonna siege. Not the fastest tower killer, but gets the job done eventually.
slowly but surely.
And now with
Now
IO,
moving on to the barracks.
it's gonna help a lot.
So the Kings not really entertaining a fight here, just letting the barracks fall while Benny and Valky look to push out the other lanes. So just a game of delaying here as much as they possibly can without giving up any kills. They should have the green light pretty soon though. Ravage, it is up now. Let's see if they come back to maybe defend that mid lane, because remember, tier 3 fell earlier on, so it is an open set of barracks. So 1 minute left on the Aegis as well.
Let's see if they
Yeah, they're coming.
respect the jump from Tidehunter, ET ulti into like Void Spirit, double silence, and they go for a siege. Kataro's still doing that. 40 seconds left on Aegis. They should feel pretty comfortable, I would say, to get the melee barracks and try to get out.
Yeah, I don't think Kataro respects anything on this Radiant team right now. He's all out of respect. What's he at?
Oh, my man, he's been
17-0-2.
playing
He's unkilled.
amazing this game. And they've set it up for a really nice game. With the lane
Backstab?
setup, backstab coming
They
out.
try. Minnie and Benny were both there looking for the Grimstroke, but Glimmercape beats them both because neither of them have any reveal.
Where are my supports? Why are they not buying vision?
Where's the dust?
Well, this is the perfect situation where you as a core need to carry a dust.
What you have to
What
watch
did I
Jenkins'
just
video.
say? Yeah, my apologies. I'm not ever gonna disrespect core players ever again.
I don't know, the most recent Jenkins video was literally like, cause you're idiots, buy dust.
I don't know why this needs to be said. Like you have, for example, if you have, let's say Lava's lineup, Io and Grimstroke, they're not gonna stand in the front line. They're not gonna chase. They don't have any kind of gap closing ability to jump, and just get the dust off. So it's definitely not for them. But yeah, that's a different kind of a story. Like you would expect Mars, you would expect your offlaner, like even Juggernaut in this situation to carry a dust if it's needed.
Absolutely. Especially if it's getting you important kills in a game where you're behind and every little step matters. Another big smoke here from the Kings. Benny is showing up on top, not blurred.
This is not a good smoke, because they smoke and they are standing where you expect them to be. I would love to see a backstab potentially, but look at Lavas. They are pinging the ward out. They are expecting them to still defend this tower, because they place down a ward. A good play would be someone shows on mid, pushes out the wave, mostly Phantom Assassin, and then go for a full backstab. Try to find those supports. With a dust.
I mean, look at where Frank's standing, right? He pops the smoke, breaks vision, sees them coming, and that means that Benny and Minnie have got to fall back. And now the push can come in proper in that bot lane.
They still don't have any dusts. Imagine losing a whole team fight if that's the scenario, because you did not want to spend some gold.
Yeah, it's pretty bonkers, honestly. I just swap the null for a dust, please. You need to get these kills. The Grim and the Io, potentially easy pickings for you. And look at all of these preemptive sentries, like triple sentry all around this bot lane right now, making sure there's no vision, there's no sentries here. Glimmercape is going to work.
If Lava wants to play this safe, stall for another 30 seconds, see when the Roche is gonna spawn, get that shard, get that Aegis, and finish the game.
Close this map in around them. One little bit of vision for the Radiant team up on their triangle. And is all they really see right now outside of the creep waves in their base. So rough though, with every lane pushing in towards you. Feels like Minnie has spent the majority of his past like 5 minutes waiting in base. Now he finally gets to clear out top wave. He can afford some dust now. Buys his Aghanim shard. Still no dust.
Still keeping the money. Maybe he's saving up for Gem, Gary. Maybe that's what's happening.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would work. I don't know if a gem will save your buildings though. Kataro just slicing away at this tier 3. Valky is considering his options here. Do I want to Blink Ravage a Jug? Do I want to wait for my PA to go in and counter initiate? What's the plan? You've let the opponents come to your doorstep and you're not telling them to leave. You're welcoming them with open arms and allowing the spin to dodge the Ravage. Now the Arena Spear in towards them. Valky's down. Kataro still full HP, so he Omnislashes in towards Benny, who blinks into the back lines. The IO's Ghost Scepter and another Ghost here for the Grimstroke. Keep them safe and sound for a little while longer, allowing Leostyle to spear back in towards Benny, whose BKB has expired, and so will he. 6 feet under now as final kill should be this poor mini Void Spirit down and out for 50 seconds, and a GG's called.
Great performance from Lava, especially Kataro. They set him up for a really good game. Looking at the lineup once again, I still feel that they should play a better Dota with the heroes that they drafted for themselves, because carry-to-carry matchup favors them. They have strong lanes. I think mid lane didn't go as they expected it to go, because like there was a time where Mars was playing the mid lane a couple of times against Puck, and I was really surprised how good Mars matches up. Not sure about this matchup, but I still feel Void Spirit should have done better.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, it's definitely one of those kind of curious things. I know the panel mentioned that the old Thunder Predator, now the Lava Boys, definitely swapped Mars from like 3 to 5. MGZ plays it. They also like to swap it into mid lane as well. So it's that open, very flexible pick for them. But I agree, just very well executed performance there from Lava. Juggernaut ends 20-0-3. Kataro, a spectacular game. But I think we can throw it back to the panel and see what they have to think about game 1 here.
Well, a spectacular performance, as Gary said, from Kataro. Do you agree with that, Bowie? Was it the Kataro show, or is there anyone else you'd like to highlight from that game 1 performance?
I mean, I think, Lava, they're a great set of players. We hyped them up a lot in the panel, but I do feel I actually went back and rewatched everything, and I really feel like King of Kings, they set themselves up for disaster. Like, bottom lane, they obviously have the lane advantage with the PA plus ET, but when they go aggressive, now, usually what you want to do is go aggressive as soon as the lane meets so that you can actually come back for the creeps, or you want to wait for the creeps to end so that you can go for the aggression with the experience advantage. But what happened is they kind of waited a little bit and they go for the IO. They don't get the kill, and Mini loses 4 creeps in that thing. So at 2 minutes 30, Mini has 3 creeps worth of his CS. And, mid, actually, Mini got first blooded by the Mars, which I don't think should happen. I really feel like a lot of lane mistakes this time, which is kind of unusual for King of Kings. So it's really hard, especially for a team that is momentum-based like them, to come back to something.
We saw that Mars flood first blood in the mid. He got other kills as well. I think he dominated that mid. Kips, talk me through what went so wrong in that mid lane matchup, because as Bowie said, that shouldn't happen.
That really shouldn't, and I am unsure exactly what caused this. Instead, actually, the thing that I'd like to talk about is that it seems like such a wash, right? But if you watch these mid-game teamfights, specifically this one here at 20 minutes that we're getting to see now, you can really see the power of this lineup that King of Kings drafted for themselves still. They're going to get out of this with 3 kills versus 2. Sure, they lose cores, but you can see how long that IO took to die. If you have the PA there immediately bursting the IO, this fight is totally different, and that'll happen if they're not 10k behind. And the same is going to happen in this fight. Look here, she's on the IO. Meanwhile, the Void Spirit is here in the middle on the Mars. He dies immediately. If the PA actually kills the IO here, again, this fight is completely different.
Do you agree with that, Bowie?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think those lane mistakes just really, I mean, they literally lost all 3 lanes. In the top lane, there was also a fight where the Snapfire actually decided to save the cookie to try and kill Jug and swap the Tide Hunter for a kill, but they lose the Tide, doesn't kill the Jug, dies on top of it. I mean, it's just... You could see how the draft is really good with all of those highlights, considering the goal disadvantage. I guess they'll just have to reset, because that is one of the best drafts, I've seen for a while. So if they cannot win with a draft like that, I think with a worse draft, it's going to be really tough.
So talking about resetting, what do you want to see them do next game? Is it just a case of playing better? Is there any particular elements that they can improve on?
Bit more respect. I guess maybe they felt themselves like, oh man, we totally outdrafted them. You know, it's an open goal. We only have to kick it in here. Um, and I guess the one thing that they might have especially underestimated, that I know I underestimated here, was yeah, this Juggernaut doesn't have a great carry to carry matchup, but when he actually gets to be this far ahead, this is an amazing Juggernaut game. And he completely ran away with that. So they have to recognize here that they can totally draft like this. They can maybe even still be a little bit casual in the laning stage, but they can't let it get this far because the enemy has their options too, and that's what you got to watch out for.
And Bowie, for Lava, more of the same. This was a confident performance after we spoke a bit about their early tournaments being promising, but after such a disastrous TI, it's a really good start for them. Do you think more of the same next time?
Yeah, I think so. You know, if with a draft like this, they were able to stop this game so hard, I wouldn't be surprised if they can do the same thing if they draft a little bit better. I agree with what Lacoste said at the beginning that 9 times out of 10, the best team with King of Kings draft would win. So it looks like they were that 1 out of 10.
Okay, well, there we go. More of the same, perhaps, from Team Lava. We'll be right back after a short break. Well, hello and welcome back to Game 2 of Lava versus King of Kings. I'm Danoff and aka Mr. Big Jams, and I'm joined as ever by Bowie and Kips. I believe we've got a draft up already, but Kips, talk to me about what you want to see King of Kings picking up here. Because they had a good draft. Do they need an even better draft?
No, this is fine. Like, give me this every day of the week. I think if as a team you draft like this and you start looking at the draft as like, okay, maybe we got to pick stronger lanes, you're making up for a deficit that you really should just be playing your way out of. It's like, no, you keep drafting like this and you go practice laning stage 2 versus 2 the entire week. Screw it.
Bowie, do you like that Mars first pickup? Because they'd be taking that off lane, I'm imagining. We just saw a mid Mars. Is that too unusual?
I mean, I'm pretty sure Mini can play. You know, he's the king of weird mid heroes. He likes to play mid Sand King, mid. Oh, I guess that's gonna be Invoker. You know, I don't mind King the 2 cores right from the beginning because they don't have light speak on either the second or third phase. So just making sure you get the cores that you want seems fine to me, and it's definitely more like their mojo. Having that Mars, denying it from Lava, and having Min's Invoker. I think that's his best hero by far.
And Kips, I want to talk about this IO because Lava have picked it up again now, so that's 2 times in a row. We didn't speak much about it as a factor in their win before. Do you think they're just confident on this, or was it something that allowed them to develop a strategy?
It definitely allowed them to play a super high-paced game, but they also got a bit lucky with how Leo Style was able to completely dominate that mid lane. That made those first IO rotations with the immediate relocate that much more potent. And I mean, here with a Leshrac is a little bit more of a sieging combination, right? And this should be able to give King of Kings, at least with the Invoker and the Mars, a good team fight combination to keep them off these towers. Because it's going to be towers that are the goal now, not kills.
Is it always going to be tower? Because is this a push lineup? Do you agree, Bowie?
I think it doesn't have to be a push lineup, but Leshrac, I think he has 2 very strong like advantages as a hero. First, he can force towers. The second one, he can team fight. And like his problem is that he's kind of squishy, and you want to go damage items or control items on the U-Scepter. When you have this IO, you can be much greedier in the way that you itemize, and you're still gonna be having a lot of mana coming from the IO as well as the sustainability. I love this pick, but it is not a good matchup versus Invoker. He has very big cast points, generally speaking. So I think they're probably gonna play this push style where you're not really team fighting the Invoker. You're more of like just forcing everyone to TP to those towers and defend.
And what sort of stuff are they? Because they've banned out already the Skywrath and the Elder Titan. What are those bans hinting towards? Because you can often get a sense of where a draft's going to go from these second phases bans. Is that giving you any particular clues?
They just crushed Biscos with the Skywrath Mage last time, and I think when you have this Mars has so much magic damage with the Arena plus Peer. The silence is insane on Skywrath Mage. They buffed the cast range a couple of times. The hero is really fast. So I think APU, they definitely made me realize how strong this hero is. I don't mind seeing banned.
The PL seems like a strange band on King of Kings. Why do you think they've taken that out, Kips?
I'm still looking at those bans from Lava because I think it does signify something, which is that they're not looking to have a lot of backline jump here either. They are expecting to be a little bit more static. With these 3 bans out, like if you have anybody who can go on the backlines, let's say a Void Spirit or something, you are definitely not going to remove a Disruptor, for example. That would be too easy of a prey. I mean, a Void Spirit, maybe they were a bad example, but still, they're looking to be more static this game. And then with the PL, partially just a respect ban. I think I've seen Kotaro wreak absolute havoc on this hero before, but next to that, also definitely an indication that they're not looking to clear waves this time. This is going to be a fighting draft, and this certainly looks like a whole bunch of brawling.
King of Kings picking up those favoured support duo that you mentioned, the Treant and the Mirana. Well, actually, we're not seeing much Mirana for them. We've seen a lot of Treant. Do you know them as Mirana players, Bowie?
Yeah. It's definitely something that they love playing on Jupiter. You do have this Mars, so the spear arrow combination is really good. I also feel like you have a lot of ways to combo the arrow. Quasar's Invoker because of the duration of Tornado, it's actually not that hard to set up Tornado into Arrow. Overall, I think this Marana has lots of lanes you can rotate to. Once 396, you also have a setup. It seems like a very solid Marana game.
And how would you close out this draft if you were choosing here?
I think you have to wait for this last pick, but honestly, looking at this PL band that we were talking about, like, because they already have this Leshrac pick, I think the PL would be like, the Leshrac would be a really good way to set up the PL, because usually you would get the Lesh as a response. Oh, and they got Jug again.
Well, it worked for them before, so they can get up again. I don't see any reason why it doesn't. Are you happy with this one, Kips?
Yeah, decently so. You can, of course, always spin out of the arena. The Invoker is not a big-time threat to you early on either. The question, of course, for you as a Jug is, do you really want to build a Manta style to fully protect yourself versus the Overgrowth, which is often a meh.
I quite like Manta on Jug. It feels nice. He's got it's good stuff.
Yeah. It's pretty good stuff, but it's not.
There's definitely better items.
There's not straight damage that you usually want. And I mean, if they are confident that they can play a momentum-based game again, then yeah, this Juggernaut is going to work out absolutely fantastic once again. Interesting
I really like
bans
the
here from King of Kings.
Morphling ban. I think it's definitely one hero that you can become a better Juggernaut in a way. You don't care about arena.
Yes, I was just about to say Medusa, but you were talking, so I didn't get to bask in my glory of having protected that.
That was my plan all along. You're not gonna take the highlight out of me. I'm joking.
It's a good one. Talk to me about the Medusa pick then. Why did I think that would work so well?
I mean, you have this Invoker to set up the Dusa to become a super strong core. The Chain Protector just slows down the game quite a bit with the Living Armor. So you're buying time for this Dusa's power spike at minute 20, 25 to just get one Aegis and force high ground. I think that's a fine pick. They do not know their lanes though, so I think it's gonna be really good for Lava. Whatever it is that they choose will have. I mean, that lane's not that strong to begin with. Trian is a strong support, but Dusa quite weak. I think Lava has a lot of leeway in what they want to pick. Probably gonna be some sort of Centaur to the gap close, maybe. You are against Mars though, so the Centaur kind of doesn't feel that good. But
do you like Axe maybe?
No,
it's a Legion.
Mm.
Why the Legion, Kips? What do you think that this is signifying?
I mean, it's a great hero to combine with the IO. Either the Legion roams with the IO, or the Legion buys a Blink Dagger, finds the target, and the IO rotates in with the Lesh or the Jug. You also have the Snapfire from long range to secure your jewels. And of course, also the Hard Dispel of the Legion Commander is great to free anyone who's getting caught by the Treant Protector. So altogether, I really like that pick. If they can get it through the lanes. This is, of course, a melee hero that sometimes struggles a little bit, and Treant Protector is definitely going to slap her around a bit.
Do you agree with that? Is it all in the lanes here?
I mean, obviously the lane is not gonna. I mean, Treant definitely does well against melee offlaners. I just feel like overall this looks like a better Lava draft to me. This Legion Snapfire is super deadly. I don't think this any of the lanes besides the Mars Baron is strong. So I think I just favor Lava. They played so well in the first game that I really feel like APU Kings will need a total revamp, they're gonna have to show totally different this time to convince me.
Well, they were dominant in Game 1 Lava with a worse draft, and now they've got a better draft. Will they be even more dominant? We're going to find out with two very handsome men, Gareth and Lacoste.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, here we are. I mean, APU Kings
Go
game
on,
plan,
please.
It makes it simpler when you've got a Medusa in a team, doesn't it, Lacoste? You can focus around one hero, and she's not a PA off on side lanes farming away. But do you agree that Lava have a better draft than Game 1?
Oh, for sure. It makes more sense to me than what they had in the previous one, even though the game number 1 was a complete stomp. I want to see how they're going to be matching up against Medusa. This time around, APU Kings, they got Marana, which means that they will be a bit more active early on. They also have Mars. They have Sunstrike combination from Invoker. Chain Protector Medusa, something that has been popular over all other regions, I would say. Combination of the two heroes where you can stall the game long enough for Medusa to come online. I want to see how that's going to match up. Because, like, Chain Protector, he does very good job at protecting the towers. But on the other side, you have Leshrac, who's the best tower taking hero in the game. Like, he doesn't care about the chip damage. He goes in full force, takes the tower. So it's gonna be a bit difficult for Twin Protector to hold the towers, which is kind of one of his purpose. Let's see who is gonna be paired up with Legion Commander. Mid lane, Arrow actually connects, but different target.
They get the IO caught up in the stun, but tethers away. Oh, that was a close one. APU King's almost coming out with first blood. Very close. And that was what, Leshrac and IO going up to try and scout some observer wards, but a lot of Radiant heroes around them.
30 seconds to battle.
Yeah, you're right. They've got this this Treant to defend towers. They've got Mars Arena. They've got Alacrity onto Medusa. Great ways to buff up and defend the Medusa once she does hit that period of the game where she's the strongest hero on the map. But I really like the Legion last pick here from Lava to kind of counteract some of that, right? When you've got the Shard, on that press the attack, you've got a way to get out of Arena for some heroes. The Dispel up against this like Treant Mirana can get people out of those dangerous spots.
APU King's
Like that
lineup is...
Leshrac.
Oh, Arrow, connect. Like, this should be the first blood.
Will it? Can I get away from this one? No. No tether. You're a Snapfire. And you've got Lil Shredder level 1.
I see you've done your homework, Gary. Snapfire does not have a tether. High level analysis right there. I think you spent too much time hanging around with me. But yeah, Snapfire dies, Medusa gets the first blood, so that's going to be a bit more... Let's see what you bought. And the Velvet skin, not bad. Like, it's actually a scary one, because you want to buy a full magic wand as well on Medusa, but since you have gold... Oh no! Snappy.
Is Snap dead again?
Snappy, Slappy. Let's see if he can slap her one more time. Yeah, he has boots of speed.
That's a boots. That's a boots
Okay.
tree. I was wondering, is Orb of Venom anywhere? No, they don't need it. They've got boots on tree.
And now this lane is ruined. It's gonna be very hard for them to come back. Benny managed to get 2 kills. The like kill threat not gonna be as much. Frank, usually the tank, but this time around can't really match against Treant Protector right clicks. 91 damage. Nothing wrong
So
there.
what is he then? If he's not Frank the tank, he's Frank the plank, just a piece of wood in the lane doing nothing at all. He's just being bullied around by a tree.
Flanking is so hard. If you want to slow down time, if you
my
feel like
God.
your team needs more, time. Oh,
I mean, Treant and Legion are still going at it bottom. We lose the IO top. And there's fights in both of these side lanes. A 3-0 lead for the Kings, though. What year was it when we had planking? It feels like I don't know.
7
I'm getting
years
old
ago.
now.
I don't know. Well, I feel like
It
that was
does
invented
feel like
in
it was 10
Australia
years
for
ago.
some reason. I don't know. Is that correct? Or I watched like some Australian video. I don't know. It's stuck in my head for whatever reason.
They just plank upside down. They do face up.
Oh,
We do
yeah,
face down.
They have to hold on to something, otherwise they will fall off into abyss.
Yeah. Off the side of the planet. Treant even going to gather up a water rune, so no rune for the Lesh. Attempted spin top. Valky drops down to about 1/3 of his HP. But Mars Mirana is such a potent lane with these stuns.
It was a very dry season. Trees need to pick up water to be able to grow. You level up after that. So Benny, Benny bringing gloves will get almost full power treads. Then you have this move speed advantage. You have enough damage to last hit, but there's the aggressive move.
9 stick charges up his sleeve, though, on Benny. So even though they'll pressure him back, should be okay to stick around in the lane. Creep wave going to start pushing back towards the Radiant side, though, as it's all cleared out. And yet again, a position where double dire range creeps upset the equilibrium there for Lava. A Juggernaut. Oh, Jupiter has an arrow and a leap, but Katyu is there with a salve. Keeps the jug topped up.
This
And
time
as
around,
usual, Lacoste, in our games, we've looked at both side lanes and nothing at mid.
I don't think there is going to be a kill on a mid lane unless No, Leo Style says, well, I'm going to wait 30 seconds for a rune. He has one, actually 2 runes. They didn't pick any of these runes. This is pretty big because Treant could easily, you know, after picking up the water rune, try to go and see. Maybe they left it. So he will go back to full HP, full mana after this.
Yeah, very nice. Especially, like you say, the emphasis that the Kings have put on giving Mini a good time, reflected in his CS, 24 and 5 denies. Not looking too bad, and we know Mini, his best hero is Invoker, his rotations are usually spot on. We'll see what he gets done in the coming minutes. For now, though, it's a bit of a go onto Leo Style. Nobody coming to help him. Leshrac is left stranded.
Arrow?
Fairy Fire.
Oh, it was a zoning
comes,
arrow.
But misses.
That was
No,
a
just
really good
punches
arrow.
too hard.
You don't think about it, but he kind of blocked the spot so that if he proceeds to run, it will get caught. But if he just goes back, that means that Mini and Seren will be able to actually get him. Unfortunately, Urn of Shadow was delivered later, so there is not Urn of Shadow charge. Still, big kill.
Yeah, a bit
this time
unfortunate.
around, like, Apo King's lineup is very good at choosing where they want to fight, because with Mirana ulti, you can backstab easily, you can use Tornado, EMP, these are the zoning tools, Treant ulti, Mars Arena, like, they have so many ways, like, even Stone Gaze is really good at disengaging if you don't feel like fighting. So, Lava, they will need to go in, like, try to go in with a quick kill, and then reset multiple times, but they have good ways of resetting. They have multiple heals coming out from Io, from Legion Commander, and also Healing Ward. Mid lane, Arrow.
Yeah,
Actually gotta get him.
Leo Style
That's big.
Stunned up for so long. Mini shares a kill with Jupiter. Now, the last time they killed Leo Style, they did lose their Medusa. Benny is playing pretty far up that bottom lane.
Is under attack.
I don't know if they're able to do it, though, now. Like, Benny has quite a bit of tankiness with raindrops. Switch to strength treads if need be. So it will just be the kill on the Leshrac mid. Mini now closing in on level 7. Still waiting for that first kind of TP rotation or the move that he makes to upset these side lanes.
We'll see what Mini can make something happen in the next couple of minutes. But looking really good for him. Sitting at 37 and 15, has Urn of Shadow charge, which means using the Cold Snap will be much more effective. Leo Style, putting down a ward.
Well, Io's dying straight up to this Mirana. Medallion first item from Jupiter. Now the Invoker with a Cold Snap EMP, and yeah, I had that little lag as well.
I could feel it, yep. Bit of a Kale.
And this is all
Or
set
should
up
we
by
say
this deep
Kal El?
because Invoker's in the game.
Yep.
Ka-El, the Blood Elf.
Was it Kal El or Ka-El?
Ka-El. It was K-A-E-L, if my memory serves me correctly. Or was it...
Maybe we had double
Is it the same name as
spells.
Superman's dad? I can't remember. It was a long time ago. But yeah, K-A-E-L. Yeah, that's the one. Io dies. Radiant Observer Ward spotted the Lash coming in, and this is... Nuage is in a very forward position here. Split Earth's on him, but Mini has another Cold Snap in a second with an Urn Charge if he wants to keep going, but he doesn't. So much pressure on this mid lane. Just everyone running at Leo Style.
They want to completely
Oh,
ruin
Cookie
it right
bottom?
now.
Are they going for... Oh, I don't know. Benny's still pretty tanky, and they've got the TP from Treant. Maybe if they had duel there, they could go for the Dusa.
Mid lane again. Oh man, Leo
Oh,
Style.
Have they got him?
They got
Is that
him.
like 3 in a row now? Having an incredibly rough time. 7-1, the score. Up
In the
against Lava,
arrow,
and this arrow's just
it's-
about gonna connect. He walks back into it, and MJZ down.
They were playing much more aggressive this time around, coming out of the laning stage. They kind of parked Medusa to the bottom lane. Mars got a lot of solo XP on the top, so he doesn't die to Juggernaut's combo. He feels very safe. They also don't have like stuns. The only stun is Snapfire early on. Legion Commander just cracked level 6, but he also does not want to rotate to the top lane. So this Mars should feel relatively safe if he feels threatened. If Cookie is used, can TP out, so should be good. I didn't mention Leshrac because Leshrac will definitely not go to the top lane. He needs to recover right now. Leo style 0-3 and 0-29 CS.
Yeah.
What's the net worth difference? Oof, almost
I don't know, but
double.
he's being run at again.
If you feel confident that you can win the game, this one, like this is when you question mark. They kill you 3 times and maybe 4th time, then you question mark. But you gotta feel, pretty confident that other lanes are going well, because you're definitely not gonna solo win this game considering the situation they're in right now. Rana.
Yeah, going very deep for that IO and pays dearly for it. Leapt forward onto Katyu, who was going for that D ward. The courier was also like half HP, so Mirana going for multiple targets and gets none of them.
That's one way to come back into the game. They got Observer Ward killed, and also Leo Style managed to get the last hit on Mirana.
And it looks like Frank now has Armlet on the Legion with duel ready, but on the run, away from Mini, who's rotated bottom. Good little cookie back, but
They're gonna get both of them.
never going to be enough. They'll take down both of them in that bot lane, and that's what we've been waiting for Mini to do. He's put so much pressure mid, put Leo Style under his boot, and switches straight down to bottom to help Benny.
I like the item choice from Mini. Understands that he's doing so well. Even though it's a great Spirit Vessel game, you're playing into 3 heals, which 2 of them can be dispelled. Like if you use one on Juggernaut, he can Blade Fury that off. Legion Commander with the press the attack. But a lot of healing, I still feel like he should go for it later on. Hand of Midas picked up, so that means that he wants to scale, wants to get levels. Kotaro on the top lane.
Is there another leap? And an arena. Just as the spin ends, Valky able to pick it up, and they know that someone also TP'd there. Snapfire is behind the tower, but they're not going to stick around. It's a good point to bring up, though. We saw Mini against Beast Coast playing Invoker with Crosswex build, go earn, and then he went for like Blink and Aghanim Scepter.
Midas, come on.
Leo
I
Style.
know you want that kill, but you also want Midas.
Use the Midas, Mini.
You
It's
do
off
not want
cooldown,
to
but
use
they're
it on
hunting for more
minicamp.
kills.
Let's see if he goes for the big camp.
IO.
Oh, he wants the Kata. Okay.
Yeah. Big catapult kill.
I was thinking,
Leo Style,
Mirana
1-4
will kill
nil.
the Kata and he can just use it straight away. Medusa, big kill on the bottom. Winner, winner. First dual damage.
And Juggernaut now needing to spin away, though. Valky doesn't have a spear, but they've got that Tornado EMP catching up Kotaro, even through the... Ooh, the damage. He's got that press the attack, healing him.
Oh, that's such a nice play
off
from
the
Kotaro.
mark.
Can he get another
And
spin-off?
Kotaro finally dies to that spear, but in comes Leo Style, looking for a bit of vengeance now onto Valky's Mars. But Leo Style is, I don't know, just so far behind in terms of itemization, levels, and net worth, he dies. Jupiter's there to clear him up. I am now trying to save Frank's Legion, but another Tornado EMP is going to clip and connect on her. Mirana, unfortunately, out of mana, so no additional Star Storms or arrows coming.
I said, Kotaro did a very nice play there. Hides in the trees, uses the trusty shovel, picks up the mango, and his Blade Fury was about to get off cooldown in 2 seconds. So if he manages to get away from that, that would be pretty dope. Also a bit surprised Leshrac. I mean, for us, it's easy because we see both sides. I think that stun would connect at least on one person if he landed it immediately. Could make a hell lot of a difference, but decided to actually stop the split earth and not cast it at all.
Yeah, it's been a rough one for that Lash, running around with the arcane boots, trying to get Yule Scepter. It's 12 minutes in, and then you've got Mini, who's on what, round 2 of his Hand of Midas now?
Yeah,
Top of the net worth
this might be the third
Invoker.
Midas usage.
And you haven't really stopped Benny's Medusa from farming. She just pushes out mid lane, can go back into that Radiant Triangle. And that's a problem for another day, I think, for Lava. They've got to consider what they need to do right here, right now.
Mini is Chad. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's more of a Giga Chad than Mini Chad, but he's really playing well. All of his rotations, we can say, it also goes back to Mirana, landing some really nice arrows early on. Bottom lane, once again.
Yeah, catching Legion Commander out completely. Good little Nature's Grasp and Overgrowth. Try and secure this kill. Frank will armor toggle a little bit. But that Star Storm connecting right at the end means his days are over. 12-minute rune. DD for Leo.
wanna
Leo
see-
style CS is pretty high. He's top of the CS, but it's all been like little jungle creeps.
Yeah, pretty much. I want to see what Mini buys next. If he wants to finish the full Spirit Vessel, or if he gets like more of a global presence, gets Boots of Travel, gets more mana. I think it's a good response to what they got. Like IOs relocate, and then you can try to outnumber them. You also have Treant Protector, who doesn't have a point in Living Armor yet, but I assume he's gonna max it out now, because Leech Seed is not like Leech Seed is just for the lane, pretty much.
Yeah.
Or if you're fighting quite a lot, which did happen, but points in Nature's Grabs seem much better.
And then what next for him? Do you want him to go like a Holy Locket or something? Or is Blink Dagger for Treant such a required item now? Oh, a Catch Lash again. Mini. Focusing onto Leo style, and even though they've got some heals coming, and Mortimer's Kiss is landing on the Invoker, it will just be the Lash to die.
I think Arrow stopped Mortimer's Kisses, but he was also running out of the range, so should have been okay. Io, in trouble.
Turns into a little piggy and squeals off to safety.